Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we talk to Ryan and Lenny about what's happening in whiskey in Colorado these days.
Hello!
It's Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Luke Otero, Lenny Eckstein, and Ryan Thompson.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hello, guys.
Yeah,
Hola.
Yep, we're going to be talking about what's happening in Colorado. We got 2 Colorado distillers here, so we'll find out a little bit what's going on in the whiskey scene. Before we get to that, I have a question. I'd like both of our Colorado guys to answer first, and then we'll have the other 3 of us weigh in on this. So, Lenny, we'll start with you first. What do you think people from the outside in the other 49 states and the District of Columbia, if they said had to describe Colorado, what do you think would come to mind? How would they describe Colorado as a state?
well, I mean, the first thing is always, even though every state has legal weed, for some reason we're the poster child for legal
Okay.
weed.
Mhm.
So being high all the time is
Okay.
part of it. Shoveling snow is the other part of it.
Yep. Okay.
People think that we're always shoveling tons of snow. What else? I don't know. I don't know what people think that I, outside. It's still
Okay.
tough to think about that, I guess.
Okay.
They think that we, I don't know. There's one thing I would say that Colorado does do, and I do think people are right about this, and that folks in Colorado can be a little like
Uppity?
like braggy or arrogant. Like, we have the best powder. You can't possibly have better powder than we do for skiing. That is.
That's a ski term, guys.
I was going to
It's a
say, I'm
ski
like,
term.
Right.
Not powder.
What about Utah? What about Utah?
Yeah, Utah's proud as well. That's where I was going, Lenny. I was going ski
Oh,
resorts
sorry.
and skiing. That's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, there's.
you
I
would go
think-
that way.
Right.
I think we're very well known for our ski resorts and or outdoor mountain activities, hiking, river rafting, mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding. So
Okay.
that's what I think most people think. Certainly, Lenny
They
nailed
think
it
of
with the
Colorado. They think of
marijuana factor.
Right.
but-
Right.
That
Luke,
and
what do you-
people.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Lenny. What?
I was just gonna say, like, people who have been to Colorado who maybe they did or didn't spend too much time. I hear a lot of folks who are like, "What's the deal with your airport? Why is it in the middle of nowhere?"
Oh, yeah. The airport's
And they're
a
not wrong
factor.
about that. It's
Yeah. The airport's kind of a mess. Yeah. People. All right. Luke, what do you think people think about Colorado that aren't from Colorado?
It's a lot like New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got great skiing. We got great outdoors. We had better snow than you guys this year.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
but get back to the question, Steve. I have to throw that dig in there just because
Right,
it's got
sure.
2 Colorado guys there. But
Yeah.
people think of South Park and
yeah.
That's another one. That's another one for
that
sure.
famous restaurant where the guys from South Park bought
Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonito.
Casa Bonita.
Yeah. I don't know, Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Becca, what do you think?
When I think of Colorado, I think about obviously just people are stoned all the time.
Uh-huh.
That's like first thought about Colorado. My second thought is definitely hipsters
Hipsters. Oh, yeah.
that stink,
That stink. Yeah. Smelly
They do
hipsters.
like
smell.
patchouli,
Yeah.
stinky hipsters.
Right.
That around.
Yeah.
And then I think about, and this is probably just because I'm from North Dakota, and then I think of like how ugly northern Colorado is,
Uh-huh.
like oil fields,
Right.
like where there's like the oil stuff going on. Like what is it, Greenlee?
Yeah, Greeley. Yeah,
Like that
Northeast.
area, like Fort Collins.
Yeah, Fort
Is that
Collins,
right?
but Fort
Like up
Collins
at there,
is
it's just
pretty
like
nice.
it was like brown and like oil field and just like not pretty at all up there. I think of that just from like driving down and being in the oil field and be like, oh yeah, we hear about these places all the time. So I think about those places as well. And I think about the Colorado Avalanche, not the actual Avalanche, but the hockey team.
Okay.
Hockey team, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that and again, they're seeing that there's something going on here, but I think that most people from Colorado feel like that it is the most beautiful state, and that's what everyone thinks about when they think of Colorado. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think Lenny hit it actually. I think they think of snow, certainly, and the number one thing though is marijuana. I think that if there's any state associated with marijuana, it is Colorado. If you mention Colorado, number one thing people are going to come up with is weed in Colorado. And like you said, it's pretty much everywhere. Missouri has, they have, it's not, they started out with the medicinal thing. Now they have just anybody can have it, so they're not the only ones, but they're the ones that are associated with it is definitely Colorado for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Now I don't want to talk about what people think about Missouri. So yeah, I think they think we're a bunch of hayseeds. And if you go so far as to what do you think about St. Louis? I think they just think about guns and murders and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I definitely say I either think about nothing at all or murder.
right, or murder. Yeah. Believe it or not, not everyone gets murdered here. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe. I know, but yeah.
Contrary to what the internet says.
Yeah. Contrary to what the internet says, yes. So yeah, it's always interesting to see what people think of their own place versus what outsiders think. So there you go. That's about Colorado. On that note, it's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Ryan this time. He hasn't gone first yet. What do you got there, Ryan?
Well, pulling out the good old Yellowstone here.
Just a classic Yellowstone, 93.
Yep. Jesus, it just came right out and there's no sound at all. Like,
Whoa. Well, we heard a little bit. So you got the lead. Buddy. Yeah. It was audible. All right. Lenny's next.
All right. Not from Colorado, still sticking in the New England theme. I've got a bottle of Mad River Distiller Straight Bourbon.
Okay. Oh! Explosive.
Wow.
Explosive.
Wow.
My ear is ringing.
Wow. I can't imagine that being beat. We'll see. I've got the old Jet Brothers here. I've got the charred French oak. Jet Brothers. See what we got here.
the
I'll
hell was
squeak.
that?
Hey, quit making fun of me.
Squeaky.
A lot of squeak, no pop there. So Lenny still has the lead. Becca's next.
No shit.
I've got a hidden barn here, single barrel picked by Jackie's Ican. Oh, and I've got a kitty cat here. My cat ran out of the room when that last cork pop went off.
Oh, he was like, yeah. Lenny scared him. Oh,
Not much.
no, not much. Lenny still has the lead, but Luke is yet to go. So, Luke, what do you got?
I've got from Colorado a 291 single barrel Colorado bourbon whiskey finished with Aspen wood staves.
Okay, number one at the Surf Hotel.
Yeah. Here we go. Swat it on the set.
Okay. Solid. Not enough, though. Solid, but not enough. Lenny gets it. So there you go. Cheers,
Wow.
gang. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right,
I should win tomorrow's.
He just has to
Bourbon
get
Daily
out
for
of
that one.
Colorado for a good cork pop.
You should win tomorrow's as well. You just win 2 in a row. Based on
It was that good.
Yeah, was that good?
It was good.
Does the Surf Hotel thing sting? Because Michael Myers is proud to point out that he is number one in sales at Surf Hotel, which is just right down the street from Lenny. Literally, in his town. That doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't. I like Michael's one of my favorite distillers in Colorado, and also, it's right down the street. Like,
Right.
it seems like a lot of we sell a ton of whiskey out of our tasting room, so all the other places kind of want to differentiate a bit. So they're looking for what else can we sell? Because Deer Hammer,
What else
they've
can we sell?
obviously they're selling a ton there. We
Deer
don't wanna
Hammer
just all do
slated.
the
What
same
else can we
thing.
do? Sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
Why does Myers hang his hat on that though?
Oh,
I think it's
his
a
number
fun
one thing.
place to trade whiskey to for rooms.
He likes to go out there and hang out. I know that. So,
Yeah, I see him there all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah, he likes the Surf Hotel. So yeah, which I do
It's a
too.
great spot.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Lenny put me up at
Last
the
time
Surf
I was
Hotel
there, I
once.
ran into Lenny.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Surf Hotel's nice. It's right on the water. I mean, yeah. It's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
You can walk around right there, watch the rapids. Fun stuff. All right. What we'll do next, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about what's happening in Colorado in terms of the whiskey scene. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
This is Jeff Andreezy from West Central Minnesota. You are listening to the ABV Network. This is the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about what the hell's going on in Colorado right now.
Yes, we are. So, what the hell's happening in Colorado? Does Colorado have its head up its ass? What's happening there?
What the hell is happening out here? I don't know.
Little.
It just here's my point here. When I think of like great bourbon festivals, I think of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I think of the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. I feel like St. Louis actually has two good bourbon. We got Whiskey in the Winter, and then we got the St. Louis Bourbon Festival, which is quickly becoming one of the most popular in the United States. And I feel like Colorado is positioned to probably be like one of the number one festivals because people want to go there again because of the weed. They want to go there, and there's so many distilleries. There's opportunity, and I feel like with why is there not like a huge why isn't there like one of the top 5 bourbon festivals in the U.S. in Colorado? So what's going on in Colorado? Talk to us about the whiskey scene there.
Well, there's a lot of small festivals.
I agree. There's a lot of small ones.
Yeah, all over the place. Certainly
Sure.
all the time in the summertime, a couple in the wintertime.
Yep.
There's one festival that is gaining a bit more traction in Colorado Springs in the fall. Lenny is they've themed a Colorado Whiskey Week now.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yep.
It ends with a big day, a big festival day. They have a couple events leading up to that. Lenny, why am I drawing a blank on this? Who is it?
With
Matt
the name of
Condor.
the festival itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that one's gaining a lot of traction. But Ryan, you hit on something I think is very true, and I've noticed this in other states where we differ. We don't just have some small ones. We have a fuck ton of small whiskey festivals all year.
Right.
I mean, this summer, you're right. Like every single weekend, there are multiple whiskey-oriented festivals to go to.
Yes.
And I mean, I pass
Which
on
is
them all
good.
the time. And
which is
I
good
had
for the
someone-
local community, but it doesn't draw people in.
Yeah.
I mean, Royce and
You're
Beka
right.
aren't driving in from Kentucky or flying in, and I'm not coming in from St. Louis. But when you go to the big festival, I go down to New Orleans, I go to Kentucky. You're just not going to do that when it's
I think-
this is a small, intimate festival. That doesn't bring people into the
Yes.
state.
But you're right. But I think the nature of the population is that they want this and they will support these smaller ones. And as a result, the smaller ones are so common that the big ones have a hard time gaining enough traction. They can be like, we are the one, because there's also 100 other ones.
Right.
And even though they're small, it's hard to get that big one off the ground because of that.
Yeah.
And I don't, do I want one or two big ones? Maybe, but I don't mind all the really fun small ones.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but the GABF Great American Beer Fest is a huge in
Huge in the beer
brewery
side.
That's a
industry,
big one.
right?
Huge.
And so they've figured it out, but they've been around for I don't know how many years. They've been around forever.
Is it
30.
done by like
40.
the beer people, or is it done by a festival organizer? Okay, so that makes it tougher. They don't have any interest in going into the bourbon. If it was done by a festival organizer like Danny Wimmer or somebody like that, then it could be like, well, I do great with the beer one. Now I want to look at distilled spirits too, but that's not going to happen if it's this.
So Ryan and Lenny, there's a number of distilleries in Colorado, correct?
Oh yeah. Number
Like,
2
you
after
guys-
New York.
Are they organized like the Kentucky Distillers Association?
No, they have something, but they fight.
No, they don't fight too much.
Oh yeah. That
There's-
thing nearly
but-
fell apart. That thing nearly fell apart after it was up and going. Yes, 100%.
There's only about 50% of the distilleries in Colorado.
That's a
that are
problem.
part of the Colorado Distillers Guild.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the problem is. I mean, if there's no cohesiveness at that level, I think to pull off a bigger festival is not going to happen.
I also think though while we do have massive tourism, I mean, obviously Colorado can't hold a flame to Kentucky's whiskey bourbon tourism.
Sure. You don't.
But we never
You don't
will.
have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to, but what we have is like our visitor experience, and I could speak for Deerhammer, and I would suspect 10th Mountain this way too, is a very enjoyable visitor experience, but it's not a whiskey exclusive visitor experience. I think of, well, for mine anyway, it's very much like you came out, you had a great day of rafting down the Arkansas River. Now you're going to come and buy a bottle or sip on a really well-made old fashioned and enjoy the shit out of the fact that you're hanging out in a whiskey distillery versus one of a bazillion breweries.
Right.
It's a different thing. It's a different kind of person. And that's not to say we shouldn't have a big whiskey festival or we shouldn't have more membership in our distillers guilds, but I think we're just like kind of I don't know, like we're this fringe like thing that came out of, in my opinion, brewing initially. Now we have tremendous momentum in what we're doing, but it's hard to change the direction of the ship, which is, in my opinion, a bazillion small whiskey festivals. They're super fun, but you're right, nobody's
it's
coming
a-
out for them.
It's a bit harder of a state to get around, certainly in the wintertime.
Sure.
Summertime, it's a bit easier, but still you're going up and over mountain passes and you never know. Hell, I was in a blizzard last week and got stuck on I-70 for an hour and a half for crying out loud.
Damn.
So
I'd move. That'd be my last day there. I'd make it through that blizzard, and I'd be like, I'm done. But
Yeah.
you guys are your hardy bunch.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the more local whiskey festivals and not any one big one necessarily. Obviously, if there was a big one, it'd be on the Front Range somewhere between.
You know, it'd be a cool big one. Ryan, I don't know if you remember, maybe there still is, but there was one called Whiskey on the Rocks, and it was near Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would be pretty fucking awesome to have like just take over one or two of the parking lots, have a huge whiskey festival, and then follow it up with a huge show. You know, like that could be the event. But no one stepped up to do it yet.
Right. Yeah.
But Steve, to your point, Colorado has its head up its ass for a lot more reasons than that. And like this could be boring stuff, but at risk of being that boring stuff, are you guys at all familiar with like what's happened in the last year or so legislatively in Colorado?
No, what's happened?
So this is going to sound weird to almost everyone who's used to a standard format. Like Steve, in Missouri, you can go and buy, beer, wine, spirits in a grocery store, or in a liquor store, or basically
basically anywhere. Yeah.
We've never had that until about a year ago or so, and it's kind of been eroding and getting to that point. But now you can go into a grocery store and buy beer and wine. And the problem with that is that our landscape of liquor stores that we've done really well with, I mean, Deer Hammer and 10th Mountain and all the other independent distilleries, because we would go into those liquor stores and we would talk to the buyer. It's just like going into the ABV barrel shop and meeting you guys. But then overnight, now that grocery stores can carry wine and they've had beer for a couple of years, the independent liquor store sales are tanking because overnight now it's like they had the rug pulled out from under them. They're down about 30% in the state. Distributors are down 30% in the state. And I mean, most distilleries are taking a hit right now. We're actually seeing a lot drop off in the last year. So like that's kind of a bummer, you know. We're sitting on the sidelines, kind of watching and doing our thing, but it's tough that's happening.
I'm glad you brought that up, Lenny. It was our best state distribution wise for Hidden Barn. Colorado was, and then that law passed, and our distributors it is absolutely hammering us. Yeah, our on-premise sales have went to nothing. Sorry, our off-premise sales have went to nothing.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Off-prem, yeah, it's brutal. And that was like for Deer Hammer, we stepped on the gas big time to get into other states. But it's terrible because from the sidelines, you look at it and think, well, why not? We can buy that stuff in other states. But if the other states have always been that way and had luxuries of like in Missouri, you guys can have tastings. You can pour spirits that's huge. But they can't do that in Colorado yet. So, someone needs to throw the liquor store to the vote.
The Kentucky Distillers Association, their number one thing they fight is beer and wine in grocery stores.
Yeah.
Like they refuse to allow that to happen without whiskey also being able to be represented. Like that's their number one fight all the time. Makes sense. And it makes sense as to what happened in Colorado with that.
Right. You can now point to something and be like, here's what's going to happen if that would happen. So I support that. I get that. Here's what I mean. So sometimes I feel like I love Colorado more than Colorado loves Colorado. When I go there, I love that place because you guys are making great whiskey and you have a unique climate that's conducive to today's consumer. That mountain arid climate, makes the proofs go up. I think that's helpful. You guys are all using pot stills. What I hate about a small distillery opens up in Missouri and they're like, oh, we got a continuous column. Why? With what you're looking at pumping out, why do you need a column still at all? You should have a pot still in there, but that's not the case in Colorado. Almost every distillery you go to is pot distilled, and I think I think you do a good job of being who you are in terms of being the whiskey. You're not like, oh, we can be a little mini version of Jim Beam. No one wants to be that. They want to be the best Colorado whiskey, which is what you should do. I think that's I think you guys have that part of it down. I just feel like, man, there's a couple other things you're close to being this powerhouse, this juggernaut in bourbon, but you're not quite there. And something like a huge festival that ties the state together, that people start thinking about Colorado whiskey, I think would be huge. Yeah.
And the cocktail scene here is pretty on point as well.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in the tourism. I mean, if you like, there's this amazing whiskey festival in Colorado, and opportunity to hang out and meet Todd Leopold, and you could even just focus on the Colorado people. Much less you get some Kentucky in there too. I think that people would go crazy for that because they want to go to Colorado. By the way,
personally, I think that for Colorado people, what it seems like to me is, at least from like the outside, kind of trying to get in there, it has become very regionalized, as in like the local support the distilleries around them, which I think is really cool, by the way.
Sure.
To me, it looks like the bigger distilleries from Kentucky that are trying to dominate nationwide are having a harder time now selling in Colorado because so many of the locals just support their local distilleries, which is the way it used to be pre-prohibition everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good point, Royce. Absolutely, bud. It's and something as well. It's what Lenny and I get the benefit of, us being in such a tourism state with a lot of people coming in from out of state, learning about what we have going on and then bringing it back home, which is very beneficial for us. And that certainly was part of my business plan early on. So,
you're in a tourist state in both tourist towns as well. I mean, what drives the towns that you guys are both in is tourism. So yeah, there's certainly something for that. I just feel like, man, Colorado's close, but it can't quite get its act together to really.
Well, on the flip side, though, I mean, it takes a long time to get your act together. Like to start a distillery, to get to the point where you're like, fuck yeah, I got this figured out. That's a big claim to make, and it doesn't happen in, it can happen in 5 years, but usually takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I get it. But some of the money needs to step up there. Some of the people, I mean, you look at like New Orleans. What's your favorite New Orleans distillery? None. It's not really a thing. But the fact that they have probably the second best, and maybe at some points it's been the best, bourbon event in the country. I think that would say that a place that if they could just get their act together just a little bit, I think could really make a play to be a bourbon powerhouse, and that's Colorado. But
is there a weed festival there?
The weed festival, yes. Yeah,
I don't know, Lenny. Is there? Good question.
Yeah, well, they definitely got the beer down. Beer is, you could see that the opportunity's there. I mean, people travel in for the beer festival. The same thing could be with whiskey for sure. Maybe I just need to just go out there and do this myself. I'll just go out there.
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds
Colorado Whiskey Festival.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, take Lenny's thought. Do it at Red Rocks, would you? And then throw a concert at night.
I'll do it at Red Rocks. Yeah.
That'll be cheap, Steve.
Yeah. Well, it'll be no big deal.
Totally attainable for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I'll get that together.
The thing that makes New Orleans Bourbon Festival is it's in New Orleans.
Right. That's the city itself. Yeah.
You're in New Orleans itself. The thing that hurts the Kentucky Bourbon Festival the most is you're in Bardstown.
Mm-hmm.
There's no infrastructure. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to stay. There's nothing to do.
Right.
You just have the festival and that's it. So you got to combine, if you could combine those two factors together, the thing that helps Bardstown is you obviously got all the celebrities there in the distilleries and whatnot. And that's what hurts New Orleans. The times New Orleans is down is when they can't draw the big names down there, which has happened a few years, and other years it's been fantastic.
Yeah. You would have that infrastructure in Colorado if you stuck to Denver or greater Denver metro. I mean, you've got the airport, you've got Uber and all those things, hotels. You think about what
walkable hotels is a big thing.
Even in Vail or Aspen or in Buena Vista or anywhere. I mean, they still have those all these Airbnbs and stuff around now providing infrastructure that's cool for people to stay in, and still somewhere for people to go afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Bardstown just doesn't have that. I mean, the town's shut down by like 6 o'clock. If you're looking to go to dinner at like 7 o'clock, it's like, nah, everything's closed. I'm sorry.
The other big problem too with Bardstown is no Ubers.
Yeah, no Ubers. Yeah.
There's no way to even get back or to go somewhere. Like there's two restaurants.
Spend a day drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what kills the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Besides that, they've done a real good job.
They've really brought it back. You got to admit that, Royce. It was there was a time when that bourbon festival was actually an embarrassment, but the last 2 or 3 years, it's been great.
The first 2 times I went there, it was like a flea market.
Yeah, it's terrible. They're selling gym socks. And I'm not even kidding about that.
They're selling like Chinese batteries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There, like, but it's they've really done a lot with it.
They have, yeah, and I think it's come back to being the premier bourbon festival out there. I think that New Orleans is second, but again, New Orleans is a place people want to visit. But I think too, if you did the Colorado Bourbon Festival right, I think that's a place where distillers want to go visit too. You can get the nose out there. You can have the big heritage brands participate in that, and then you have, of course, all the Colorado distilleries part of it, and it could be a really great opportunity to showcase what's going on there. So great.
Well, all I know is that if Santa Fe can pull off the Santa Fe Wine and Chili Fest for 4 days,
which is huge,
and none of the wineries are from New Mexico. They're all from out of state, and they love being here. And it attracts all the big winemakers, the winery owners. And if we could pull this off, certainly Colorado could do it for bourbon. You guys have got some of the best hooch in the country right now. So
you know what one of our hiccups is that I think would be a super easy fix? Our Distillers Guild, and I think like our just collective, distillery owners and those involved have not yet got on board with using the word bourbon. Like, and I get it because it's a broader, whiskey is broader, but God damn it, if you don't say, like, I don't care if you're making rye or rum or
single malts,
else, or single malts. Everybody wants to hear the word bourbon. So just fucking say it, call it that. And they'll be okay with everything else that it is.
Yeah.
So, like when we name our trail of distilleries, they call it the Spirits Trail. Hey guys, call it the fucking Bourbon Trail.
That sounds like you're going on a ghost tour. It's the Colorado Spirits Trail.
It's because everybody wants to be nice and be inclusive, and that's cool, but nobody gives a fuck if you're making vodka, gin, rum, tequila. I don't care what it is, whatever.
Right.
It's bourbon. Just call it that.
Yeah.
Great point.
So there's opportunities out there, and hopefully they get it together because I like Colorado. I like the state. I like the people.
Right.
I like the whiskey that's being made there, and I think there is a great opportunity. I think it could be remedied pretty easily if the right person got there and really organized a great festival, and it could highlight and showcase what's going on there in Colorado, which is good stuff. There's no doubt about it. I'm not, Kentucky will always be the capital, the king of bourbon, but that doesn't mean there's other places where you can't find great stuff, and I think Colorado is one of those places. So I'd love to see it showcased just a little bit better. So there you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Lenny, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me and the rest of Deer Hammer on social media at Deer Hammer, on the web at deerhammer.com. And you can come visit us on the Colorado Bourbon Trail in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado.
Luke, how about you?
You can find us on Instagram at Santa Fe Boutique Wines, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Luke Hotel.
All right, Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey. Our website's 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
Royce.
Facebook and Instagram at Neely Family Distillery and at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
Margie.
Me? You can find me at margiesartclass.com.
There you go. MargiesArtClass.com. Check it out. All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, SteveAkeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's ABVNetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. We put all of our previous shows. We've got our blogs out there. So much more. ABVNetwork.com. You go back through the archives. You can search. I interviewed Lenny when he was doing one of those small local festivals. So there's a lot to do in Colorado. There's, like I said, pretty much every weekend, over the summertime, there's some sort of bacon and bourbon festival. There's all kinds of mini festivals for sure. There's a great scene for sure in Colorado. I'd just like to see it collectively do a little bit more. Also come by and see me, the ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. We've always got classes going on, events and things like that. Always new barrel picks coming in. So check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps when people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you to please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Good night.
Yes.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing, the ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.